From the earliest times, humanity has questioned what happens to our minds while we sleep. When you close your eyes and surrender your body to rest, something extraordinary occurs. Your consciousness doesn't disappear, but remains active in a state of parallel existence. During these mysterious hours, billions of people around the world embark on internal journeys that often go unnoticed by most. Some report vivid and emotional dreams. Others experience unusual sensations, such as temporary separation from the physical body. These phenomena have intrigued scientists, philosophers, and spiritualists for centuries, generating intense debates about the true nature of reality and what we call the self. Imagine, for example, someone who describes visiting a city never before seen while awake, but who, upon waking, discovers specific details of that location that correspond exactly to geographical reality. This raises profound questions. Are we simply dreaming or accessing another dimension? Science recognizes that the human brain operates at different frequencies during sleep, especially in the REM phase, when neural activity is impressively similar to the waking state. However, few know that some ancient traditions suggest that, at this moment, the soul can travel beyond physical limitations, exploring unknown planes of existence. Now think about the impact this could have on your daily life. If every night was actually an opportunity to expand your perception and access hidden knowledge, how would this change your perspective? There are fascinating accounts of individuals who claim to have received guidance from spiritual guides, or even answers to complex problems during their moments of rest. Ordinary people, such as a craftsman or a teacher, have reported experiences that transcend conventional logic, opening doors to new, creative, and personal possibilities. The key to unlocking this mystery may lie in something as simple as how we prepare for sleep. By cultivating clear intentions before falling asleep, many have managed to transform their nights into laboratories of self-knowledge and inner growth. Now that we understand how consciousness remains active while we sleep, let's explore a fascinating aspect of this phenomenon: the connection between the subconscious and the messages it sends us during sleep. Imagine this as an invisible bridge between the conscious and the unconscious, where ideas, memories, and even skills are processed without us realizing it. Scientists have discovered that the brain uses this period to organize information acquired throughout the day, consolidating it into our long-term memory. However, this activity is not limited to organizing everyday data. The subconscious can also reveal hidden truths, bring up deep emotions, or even predict future events. For example, consider the case of a craftswoman who, for years, sought inspiration to create a unique piece that could represent her worldview. One night, she dreamed of an intricate pattern of geometric shapes that seemed to dance in perfect harmony. Upon waking, she noted the details of the dream, and weeks later, transformed that image into a sculpture that caught the attention of renowned galleries. This is just one example of how the subconscious can function as an inexhaustible source of creativity and innovation. But why are some people able to access these deeper layers of the mind while sleeping, while others seem to experience only mundane dreams? The answer may be related to the emotional and mental state before sleep. When someone prepares for sleep with clear intentions, such as asking the subconscious to solve a specific problem or provide guidance for the future, there is a greater likelihood of meaningful experiences occurring. This happens because the brain enters a hybrid state known as the hypnagogic phase, a kind of limbo between wakefulness and deep sleep, where mental suggestions have a powerful impact. Great minds in history, such as Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla, used this technique to generate revolutionary ideas that shaped the modern world. They often wondered about complex questions before sleeping, awakening with brilliant solutions that seemed to come out of nowhere. So, how can we apply this in our own lives? Try creating a simple ritual before bed. While relaxing in bed, Imagine yourself surrounded by a protective light and say something like, "I want to access my maximum potential during sleep." Repeating phrases like this may seem simple, but they program your subconscious to work towards your goals. In addition, keeping a notebook by the bed to record any memories upon waking is crucial. Even seemingly disconnected fragments can reveal valuable clues about your deepest desires and hidden aspirations. Now here's something fun. I'd like to interact with you. If you've ever had a curious dream, a lucid experience, or even an inexplicable sensation while sleeping, share it in the comments below. I'm especially interested in knowing how these experiences impacted your life. Did they bring solutions to difficult problems or open doors to new opportunities? Remember, each story is unique, and your contribution can inspire other viewers to better explore this mysterious universe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue following our journeys into the unknown. Together, we can decipher the secrets of human consciousness. Now that we have explored how consciousness can expand its limits during sleep, it's time to dive into an even more fascinating aspect: the role of symbols and emotions in the dream process. Imagine that each dream is like a blank canvas, where your subconscious paints images loaded with profound meanings. These images, often disguised as metaphors or enigmas, are actually direct messages from your inner self. For example, someone who has been struggling with personal fears may repeatedly dream of a dark forest full of shadows. For some, this may seem like just another common nightmare, but by analyzing the details, such as the sound of the wind among the trees or the feeling of being lost, we realize that these elements symbolize something much larger: the internal struggle to find clarity amid emotional confusion. Symbols are not limited to physical scenarios. They can also be represented by people, objects, or even colors. A visual artist, for example, reported frequently dreaming of a broken ladder while facing creative difficulties in her career. Over time, she realized that that ladder was a metaphor for her truncated ambitions and began to actively work to overcome mental blocks. This type of interpretation reveals that our dreams are not just passive reflections of random thoughts, but active guides to our personal evolution. In addition, Carl Jung argued that universal archetypes, figures like the hero, the magician, or the guardian, appear in our dreams as facilitators of this introspective journey. These recurring patterns connect all human beings through a shared symbolic language. But here comes another crucial question. Why do certain emotions seem to dominate our nightly experiences? The answer is deeply linked to how we prepare before sleeping. When you go to bed overwhelmed by anger, anxiety, or frustration, these feelings tend to shape the atmosphere of the dream environment. This occurs because the brain continues to process the emotional information accumulated during the day, trying to organize and release residual tensions. However, this dynamic can be controlled. Try replacing daily worries with simple practices such as visualizing soft lights around your body or repeating positive affirmations before falling asleep. People who incorporate this habit report significant changes, including more vivid and less disturbing dreams. In addition, it is worth mentioning that some ancient cultures viewed dreams as divine tools for spiritual guidance. In the shamanic tradition, for example, spiritual leaders interpreted visions received during sleep as clear instructions about important life decisions. Today, although we live in a highly technological world, the underlying principles remain relevant. By better understanding the symbols and emotions present in our dreams, we can transform mere nightly daydreams into real opportunities for growth. And so, would you like to move on to the next block? We have reached the culmination of this fascinating exploration of the mysteries of sleep and consciousness. Now that we understand how our dreams can be portals to unknown dimensions, profound symbols, and even connections with other minds, It is time to reflect on the impact of these experiences on our daily lives. Imagine for a moment that each night is not just a period of rest, but a unique opportunity for personal and spiritual growth. By accessing these deeper layers of the mind, you are not just dreaming, you are reconnecting with your most authentic essence. People who have learned to explore these internal journeys report significant transformations. For example, a musician who faced creative blocks began to practice lucid dreaming induction techniques, where he programmed his mind before sleeping to receive inspiration. After a few weeks, he woke up with innovative melodies that he had never imagined before, completely changing the course of his career. This demonstrates that when we use conscious intention, we can transform our sleep into a laboratory of self-knowledge. But here's something even more powerful. You don't have to be an expert or have extraordinary abilities to start this journey. It all starts with small steps. By keeping a notebook by the bed and recording your dreams as soon as you wake up, you will already be activating an important part of the brain responsible for memory and symbolic interpretation. In addition, try creating simple rituals before bed, such as visualizing soft lights around you or repeating affirmative phrases like, "I'm protected and ready to learn while I sleep." These practices help to tune your mind to higher frequencies, making your nightly experiences richer and more meaningful. And if you are still curious about how to better control your dreams, there are advanced methods such as mnemonic induction of lucid dreams, mild, which involves mentally rehearsing a scenario during the day and, when sleeping, remembering to constantly question whether you are awake or dreaming. This may seem simple, but it has the potential to open doors that you didn't even know existed. Now, I would like to invite you to something special. If this content resonated with you, if it brought reflections or even inspiration, I would love for you to be part of this community. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content that challenges the conventional and expands the limits of what we think is possible. Here, we are not just sharing information, we are building a space where real stories, personal experiences, and ancestral knowledge come together to illuminate new paths. I also want to invite you to share your story in the comments below. Have you ever had a dream that changed your perspective? Or perhaps a lucid experience that seemed too real to be just a daydream? Your contribution may be exactly what someone else needs to better understand this mysterious universe. Finally, remember, the inner journey does not end here. Each time you close your eyes to sleep, you are entering an infinite world of possibilities. So, continue exploring, questioning, and learning. I look forward to hearing your stories and discovering together what else we can unravel about the nature of human consciousness. Until next time.